75% of the UK citizens believe the recent anti-immigration riots do not reflect the views of the broader population, yet these riots have spread to over 20 locations, including major cities like London and Manchester. What factors are driving this disconnect between public sentiment and violent action? On July 29, 2023, a tragic stabbing incident in Southport, UK sent shockwaves through the community. The event, which resulted in the death of a 19-year-old woman, quickly became a focal point for public attention and concern. However, what followed was not just an outpouring of grief, but a dangerous cascade of misinformation that would have far-reaching consequences. In the immediate aftermath of the stabbing, social media platforms became a breeding grounds for false information. Unsubstantiated claims about the attacker's identity spread rapidly, with many posts falsely attributing the crime to an asylum seeker. This misinformation gained significant traction despite official statements to the contrary. The public reaction to these false claims was swift and intense, setting the stage for subsequent unrest. This incident serves as a stark example of how misinformation can exploit existing societal tensions and trigger widespread civil disturbances. The ramifications of this event would extend far beyond Southport, igniting a series of riots across the UK. The Southport incident didn't occur in a vacuum. It tapped into a complex web of pre-existing tensions surrounding immigration in the UK, an issue that has been simmering for decades. To understand the explosive nature of the riots, we must examine the historical context that set the stage for such a volatile reaction. Immigration has long been a contentious topic in British politics and society. The UK's relationship with immigration underwent a seismic shift in 2016 with the Brexit referendum. The vote to leave the European Union was largely driven by concerns over immigration control and sovereignty. This pivotal moment highlighted the deep-seated anxieties many Britons harbored about the changing demographics of their country. In the years following Brexit, these concerns have not abated. Recent data paints a picture of increasing immigration pressure. In 2022, the UK saw a significant surge in channel crossings, with over 45,000 immigrants arriving on small boats, a 60% increase from the previous year. This dramatic rise has intensified public debate and heightened concerns about border control and national security. The combination of historical tensions and recent trends created fertile ground for far-right groups to exploit. In the wake of the Southport incident, these organizations swiftly mobilized, capitalizing on the misinformation circulating on social media. Their tactics were multifaceted, combining online propaganda with street-level demonstrations. These groups employed a narrative that framed the stabbing as evidence of a larger threat posed by immigrants and asylum seekers. They used emotive language and cherry-picked statistics to paint a picture of a nation under siege. Their messaging resonated with individuals already predisposed to anti-immigrant sentiment, amplifying existing fears and prejudices. Economic anxieties played a crucial role in fueling this anti-immigrant sentiment. The UK, like many countries, has grappled with economic challenges in recent years, including rising inflation and a cost of living crisis. In times of economic uncertainty, it's not uncommon for some segments of the population to seek scapegoats. Immigrants often become convenient targets, blamed for job scarcity, strain on public services, and cultural changes. This phenomenon is not unique to the UK. Similar patterns have played out in various countries throughout history. In the United States, for example, economic downturns have often coincided with surges in anti-immigrant sentiment. From the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 to more recent debates over Mexican immigration, in Germany, the influx of refugees in 2015 led to a rise in far-right populism, particularly in regions facing economic challenges. The UK riots of 2023 bear striking similarities to the 2011 England riots, which also spread rapidly across multiple cities. While the triggers were different, both events occurred against a backdrop of economic uncertainty and social tension. The 2011 riots were partly attributed to austerity measures and income inequality, factors that continue to shape the UK's social landscape today. The spark of misinformation in Southport quickly ignited a firestorm of unrest across the United Kingdom. What began as a localized incident rapidly escalated into a nationwide crisis, with riots erupting in more than 20 locations across the country. Major cities like Manchester, Liverpool, and London became hotspots of civil unrest, marking the most severe outbreak of public disorder in the UK in over a decade. The scale and spread of the riots were unprecedented in recent British history. The violence was particularly concentrated around facilities housing asylum seekers, revealing the targeted nature of the unrest. In Rotherham, rioters launched a vicious attack on a Holiday Inn, known to accommodate asylum seekers. The assault on the hotel was marked by extreme violence, with rioters breaking windows and setting fire to debris outside the building. This pattern of targeting asylum seeker accommodations was repeated across multiple locations, underscoring the xenophobic undercurrents driving the unrest. Religious institutions also bore the brunt of the rioters' fury. In Southport, where the initial stabbing incident occurred, the local mosque became an immediate target. As the misinformation spread, members of the mosque were forced to barricade themselves inside as rioters hurled petrol bombs and bricks at the building. This attack on a place of worship highlights the dangerous intersection of misinformation and pre-existing prejudices, where false narratives can quickly translate into real-world violence against vulnerable communities. The response from law enforcement was swift and substantial. According to official reports, over 400 individuals were arrested in connection with the riots, with more than 120 charged as of the latest updates. The severity of the situation prompted authorities to deploy an additional 2,200 riot-trained officers to manage the unrest. This significant mobilization of police resources underscores the scale and intensity of the riots, as well as the challenges faced by law enforcement in containing the spread of violence. Despite the substantial police presence, the riots resulted in significant injuries to the law enforcement personnel. Dozens of police officers were hurt during clashes with rioters, highlighting the violent nature of the confrontations and risk faced by those tasked with maintaining public order. The role of social media in coordinating and escalating the unrest cannot be overstated. Platforms like Telegram and WhatsApp became virtual command centers for rioters, allowing them to coordinate their actions in real time and stay one step ahead of law enforcement. This digital dimension of the riots demonstrates the double-edged nature of modern communication technologies. While these platforms can be powerful tools for organizing peaceful protests and disseminating information, they can also be exploited to orchestrate violence and spread misinformation. However, it's crucial to note that the actions of the rioters did not reflect the sentiments of the broader UK population. A YouGov poll conducted in the aftermath of the unrest revealed a significant disconnect between the rioters and public opinion. According to the poll, 75% of responders felt that the rioters did not represent the views of the broader UK population. This data point is particularly illuminating, as it suggests that while the riots were intense and widespread, they were driven by a vocal minority rather than representing a broader societal shift. The aftermath of the UK riots has left a profound impact on the nation's social and political landscape, with consequences that extend far beyond the immediate unrest. The government's response to the riots was swift but complex, balancing the need for immediate law enforcement with addressing the underlying causes of the disturbances. Prime Minister Keir Starmer faced his first major crisis since taking office, and his handling of the situation has been under intense scrutiny. In the immediate wake of the riots, the government deployed additional police forces and implemented temporary curfews in affected areas. However, these measures were met with mixed reactions from the public. While many supported the restoration of order, others expressed concern about the potential infringement on civil liberties. The government's challenge lies in striking a delicate balance between maintaining public safety and preserving democratic freedoms. The riots have had a significant impact on community relations, particularly in areas with diverse populations. The targeting of asylum seeker accommodations and religious institutions has created an atmosphere of fear and mistrust among immigrant communities. This heightened tension threatens to undermine years of progress in community integration and social cohesion. Safety concerns have emerged as a critical issue in the aftermath of the riots. The Law Society of England and Wales has raised alarms about the targeting of immigration lawyers during the unrest. Their president emphasized the gravity of the situation, stating, "These threats are an attack on our democratic values." The intimidation of legal professionals not only jeopardizes the rule of law, but also raises questions about the safety of those working in immigration-related fields. The government faces pressure to review and potentially overhaul its approach to asylum seekers and immigration control. Critics argue that the current system is inadequate in addressing the complexities of modern migration patterns. However, any policy changes must navigate the delicate balance between national security concerns and humanitarian obligations. Public discourse surrounding immigration has been significantly affected by the riot. The spread of misinformation during the unrest has highlighted the need for more robust media literacy programs and fact-checking mechanisms. There is a growing recognition that addressing the root causes of social unrest requires not only policy changes, but also a concerted effort to combat the spread of false information. The riots have exposed deeper societal issues that extend beyond immigration. Economic disparities and community tensions, which have long simmered beneath the surface, have been brought into sharp focus. The unrest has revealed the extent to which economic insecurity can fuel social divisions and anti-immigrant sentiment. Addressing these underlying issues will be crucial in preventing future outbreaks of civil unrest. The government faces significant challenges in restoring order and addressing the root causes of the unrest. One of the primary obstacles is the erosion of trust between communities and authorities. Rebuilding this trust will require a multifaceted approach, including community outreach programs, transparent communication, and concrete actions to address economic and social inequalities. Furthermore, the role of social media in spreading misinformation and coordinating riots presents a unique challenge. The government must grapple with how to regulate online platforms without infringing on freedom of speech. This balancing act will likely involve collaboration between tech companies, policymakers, and civil society organizations to develop effective strategies for combating online misinformation. The UK riots of 2023 serve as a stark reminder of the power of misinformation in our interconnected world. The rapid spread of false claims about the Southport stabbing incident through social media platforms demonstrates the vulnerability of societies to digital disinformation. This event and its aftermath provide crucial insights into the complex interplay between social media, public perception, and civil unrest. One of the key lessons from this crisis is the critical role of media literacy and critical thinking in combating misinformation. As political analyst Bruce Wilson noted, the tensions have clearly been fueled by social media, which has been simply dishonest in the way in which it has represented the circumstances around the knife attack last week. This observation highlights the urgent need for educational initiatives that equip citizens with the skills to discern credible information from falsehoods. The UK government's response to the misinformation crisis has faced criticism, with many calling for stronger regulations on social media platforms. However, addressing this issue goes beyond mere policy changes. It requires a multifaceted approach that combines technological solutions, educational programs, and community engagement. Increasing social resilience against misinformation-driven unrest is a complex challenge that demands innovative strategies. One approach is to foster digital citizenship through comprehensive media literacy programs in schools and communities. These programs should focus on developing critical thinking skills, understanding the mechanics of social media algorithms, and recognizing the hallmarks of misinformation. Another strategy involves strengthening fact-checking mechanisms and prompting transparency in online information sharing. Collaboration between tech companies, government agencies, and civil society organizations can lead to the development of a more robust system for identifying and countering false narratives before they gain traction. Community engagement plays a crucial role in building social resilience. Creating forums for open dialogue between diverse groups can help address underlying tensions and reduce the likelihood of misinformation taking root. These initiatives can foster understanding and empathy, making communities less susceptible to divisive narratives. Comparative examples from other countries offer valuable insights into managing similar crises. For instance, Finland's comprehensive approach to combating misinformation has gained international recognition. The Finnish government has integrated critical thinking and media literacy into its national curriculum, starting from primary school. This long-term strategy has contributed to Finland's high ranking in resilience against misinformation campaigns. Similarly, Taiwan's rapid response system for countering disinformation offers another model. The Taiwanese government has developed a collaborative network that quickly identifies false narratives and disseminates accurate information through various channels. This approach has proven effective in mitigating the impact of misinformation campaigns. The UK riots underscore the importance of addressing both immediate triggers and underlying societal issues to prevent future unrest. While swift action is necessary to counter the spread of misinformation, long-term solutions must tackle the root causes of social tensions. This includes addressing economic disparities, improving community relations, and ensuring equitable access to education and opportunities. The role of economic factors in fueling social unrest cannot be overlooked. As seen in the UK, periods of economic uncertainty can exacerbate existing tensions and make communities more susceptible to divisive narratives. Addressing these economic challenges through targeted policies and investments in affected communities is crucial for building long-term social resilience. Furthermore, promoting diversity and inclusion at all levels of society can help reduce the impact of xenophobic narratives. Creating opportunities for meaningful interactions between different communities can foster mutual understanding and respect, making it harder for misinformation to exploit perceived differences. If you like our video on the UK's immigration crisis, please explore the other videos of our series in the UK's current situation, where we are exploring how the UK is sinking in crisis after crisis. Please let us know in the comments section your thoughts on the UK's crisis, and if you have any personal experiences that you've had while living in the UK.